Well, the Mets could sure use a bounce-back year from Marte.
That's driven toward left field. Back goes Yelich near the wall. It's off the top of the fence. Marte digging for second. He's in standing with the Mets' first hit of the year. And now they're saying it's a home run. First pitch swinging. Francisco Alvarez. It's a rope to left, and it's out of here. Francisco Alvarez on the first pitch from DL.
So a tough act for Beatty.
And he drives one out to right center field. That's deep. Churio near the wall. It's out of here. Brett Beatty with a pinch hit.
2-2. Here's the pitch. Swing on a liner in the air to left. Pretty deep. Back goes Yelich. It's going to go. Home run. Pete Alonso. A line drive.
Ninth as well in a 1-0 game.
Alonso hooks one in the air. Left center field. Back toward the gap goes Canna. And it's out of here. Pete Alonso ties the game with his second home run of the year. Alonso hooks one over the fence in left center.
McNeil drives one deep right field. Way back there. Gone. A rocket out of the park for McNeil. His first home.
He hits this one deep to left field, and that ball is not coming back. Francisco Lindor with his first home run of the year.
Well, they're only 6 behind the Braves.
Nimmo hooks one to deep right field. Forget that. That'll tie the game. Brandon Nimmo into the chop house. A 3-run homer. His first of the year, and the Mets have come from 4 runs.
It's 2-1. Never mind.
He swings at this one and flies it deep to center. Back goes Harris looking up, and it's out of here. Brandon
Looking to get Beatty home from second. 5-5 top of the 8th.
and Stewart hits one in the air to center field. Back goes Harris to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. DJ Stewart's first hit of the year is a go-ahead 2-run homer. And Alonso hits one deep to left center field, headed back toward the wall. That ball is out of here. Pete Alonso gets the Mets back.
Season.
That's hit to deep right field. Acuna looks up, and it's out of here. DJ Stewart with a 2-run homer. And the
Hit in the air to pretty deep left field. Back goes Duvall near the wall,
and it's out of here. A grand slam for Tyrone Taylor to add the icing on the cake.
Taylor hits a grand slam off Luis Guillorme to make it 16.
And Pete drives one in the gap in left center field, headed toward the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso with a line drive home run, his 4th.
Base it up the middle.
That's driven to left field. Back goes Blanco, takes a look, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso homers for the 2nd straight night. And time
For 14.
And there's another one for Alonso. He crushes this one, and that one makes it to the back of the lower deck. 2nd of the day, 6th of the year.
By a half a dozen.
Marte drives one deep to the gap in left center field, and Hampson watches it go out of here. A home run for Marte. 2nd home run.
Bottom 3. Runner at first.
Marte gets one in the air to deep left center field. Back in the gap goes Joe near the wall, and I think it's a home run. And now Bader drives one deep down the left field line toward the pole. It's out of here. Harrison Bader with his first home run. That's driven to deep right by DJ Stewart, and that ball is out of here. DJ Stewart on the first pitch from Yamamoto.
Lindor 1 for 3 in his career against Hudson.
And he hits one deep to right center field toward the pavilion. That ball is out of here. Francisco Lindor. Marte unloads one to center field. Outland back to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Starling Marte with a 3-run home. And Pete slugs one deep down the left field line toward the corner. It's out of here. Pete Alonso gets the Mets on the.
Moore gets under one to deep right. Back goes Slater at the wall,
And it's out of here. Tyrone Taylor unloads one deep left center back toward the wall, and it's out of here. Tyrone Taylor with his 2nd home run.
3-2 to Lindor.
He clocks one to deep right field, and that is way out of here. Francisco Lindor breaks out with a 4-hit, 2-home run.
Nito drives one out toward right center field pretty deep. Ciani is back for it. He's out near the wall. It's gone.
Nido as a double.
Nickname of Polar Bear. He sends one deep to right field. Ranging back is Nootbaar at the wall. There it is. History for Pete.
Pitch of the at-bat, and Lindor slugs one out to left center. Back in the gap goes Ciani right near the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Lindor tied the ninth. Fly ball center field. Back goes Ciani to the warning track. Back at the wall. It's out of here. Vientos wins the game for New York with a two-run homer. Vientos back in the big leagues with a bang. A two-run homer in the bottom. Doing one to Nimmo. And he rockets one out to right field. Back goes Topman near the wall. And it's out of here. Brandon Nimmo with his third home run. And Stewart drives one to deep right field. And that ball is in the upper deck. And the Mets have the lead. A three-run shot.
Beatty gets under one to right field. Ramirez drifting back. Should have plenty of room.
And doesn't know where it is. And it's a home run. So Ramirez didn't know where the ball. Beatty gets a hold of one to deep right field, and he has struck again. Brett Beatty's second home run of the night. A monstrous shot to right field. Brett Beatty came into the night with. That's driven to deep right field. Back goes DeLuca near the wall, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor with his sixth home run of the year. And Nimmo launches one to deep right. Forget that. That is way out of here. Brandon Nimmo puts the Mets back in front with his fourth home. Nimmo uncorks one to deep center field. Back goes Ciani at the wall. It's out of here. Brandon Nimmo strikes again. A three. And Alonso drives one deep left field, headed back toward the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso with a line drive. And Francisco Lindor clubs one to deep right. Forget that. That is way out of here. Into the second deck. Francisco. And Martinez flies one to deep right field. Back goes Acuna. Back at the wall. It's out of here. J.D. Martinez break.
Long time ago.
High fly ball left field. That's deep. Back goes Pache near the wall, and it's out of here. J.D. Martinez with his Francisco Lindor on deck, and Pete drives one toward the gap in left center field, headed toward the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso lines a home run over the 387 mark. Nimmo cracks one to deep right field. Back goes Myers near the wall. It's out of here. Brandon Nimmo with a two-run homer to extend the Mets' lead in the ninth. Curveball lifted to deep left field by Nido. And Fry will watch this one sail out of here. Tomas Nido with his second home run of the year.
His first time up.
As Vientos drives one to deep center field. Back goes Freeman back near the wall. It's out of here. Into the shrubbery. Mark Vientos with his second home run of the year gets the Mets on the board. Right. Now McNeil hits one well to right center field. Back goes Rodriguez to the warning track. It's over his head, and it's out of here. Jeff McNeil with a two-run homer. Second of the year for McNeil, and the Mets are right. Martinez at first with one out, 2-2 to Marte. And he gets a curveball, drills it down the line, headed toward the stands, and it's out of here. Starling Marte with a two. Here's Pete Alonso riding a 7-game hitting streak, and he drives one out to right field, chasing Rodriguez back to the warning track, back at the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso. And he hooks this one to right field. Back goes Rodriguez. It's over his head, and it's out of here. Jeff McNeil homers for the second. Gets a curveball and hits it deep to left, and I think he did it. Harrison Bader gets his best revenge by going deep against Tristan McKenzie. And he rockets one to deep left. Forget that. That is way out of here. Into the second deck. J.D. Vientos smacks one out to right center. Back in the gap goes Matos near the wall. It's out of here. Mark Vientos. Now Pete Alonso. And Pete cranks one to deep left field. Ramos to the wall, and it's out of here. And now Marte gets a breaking ball and hammers it to deep left, and it's out of here. Starling Marte with his. And he cranks Cracks one to deep right field. That ball is out of here. Brett Beatty puts the Mets in front. And the curveball rocketed out to right field. Hayward going back at the fence, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor got on the curveball and hits a 2-run homer, his 8th of the. And Nito slams one deep left center. Vargas looks up, and it's out of here. Tomas Nido with a 2-run homer breaks the Mets' scoring drought. 3rd homer.
The kick in the 1-2. Lindor cracks the ball deep right center field. This one is way out. Gone. Francisco Lindor's 9th home.
1 out and nobody on. J.D. Martinez coming up. And J.D. clocks one to deep center field. Back goes Carroll, takes a look, and it's out of here! Into the block! J.D. Martinez with his... J.D. drives one out to right field. McCarthy goes back, takes a look, and it's out of here! J.D. Martinez homering for the 2nd straight. And he drives this one to deep left field. Forget that. That is way out of here. Off the facing of the 2nd deck. Mark Vientos out to get for Hughes as he faces Alonso, and Pete hits a charge into one into deep left field. McCarthy goes back at the wall. It's out of here.
Here we go.
On with your furry friends. Mark Vientos hits one deep to left center, back near the wall, and it's out of here. Mark Vientos on the first pitch. Bader trying to pick up Marte from second with 1 out. And Bader drives one out to left center field. It's deep. Back goes Winker near the wall, and it's out of here. That's driven deep to left by Alonso, and that is way gone. Whoa. What a shot from Pete Alonso to put the icing on. And he drives this one out to right center field. That's deep, headed back toward the wall. That ball is out of here. Luis Torres with his first home run. That's drilled to center field. Young going back onto the warning track at the wall. He leaps and he can't get it. Home run. Luis Torres. And now this one's hit deep by Lindor, headed toward the stands, and that's out of here. Back-to-back home runs on consecutive pitches. And Bader whacks one deep left center field, headed toward the wall. It's out of here. Harrison Bader home in the 2-hole. And that's overloaded to deep left by Marte, and that's going to sail into the upper deck, into the 2nd deck. An enormous shot by Marte. That's driven to deep center field. Chisholm going back to the wall, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor is the icing up. And J.D. rockets one out to right center. Back in the gap goes Chisholm looking up, and it's out of here. J.D. Martinez wins it with a 2-run opposite field home run. And Martinez hits it deep to right center. Back goes Tatis at the wall. It's out of here. J.D. Martinez strikes again. And he drives this one out to right center field. Back in the gap goes Merrill at the fence, and it's out of here. J.D. Martinez again. Good times. Fly ball deep right field, and Lindor has tied this game into the 2nd deck. 12th home run of Barnes. Fly ball deep left center. Alonso got hold of one, back to the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso. High fly ball deep center field. Back goes Merrill to the warning track and jumping. It's out of here. Luis Torres. Here's DJ Stewart. And Stewart clocks one to deep right field. Back goes Garcia, takes a look, and it's out of here. DJ Stewart with a 3. And now it's hit to deep right field. Back goes Garcia, takes a look, and it's out of here. Brandon Nimmo unloads one, a 2-run. That's hit in the air to deep left field. Back goes Langford looking up, and it's out of here. Mark Vientos gets the Mets on the board first with his 6th home run of the year. And now Nimmo hits one in the air to deep right field. Back goes Jankowski at the wall, jumping, and it's out of here. Brandon Nimmo begins the Mets. And Pete hits one in the air deep to center field. Back goes Langford to the track, back at the wall.
JD laces that one to deep center field, and it's out of here. A bullet of a shot. The 0-1 gets a hold of that one to deep left center field. Going back is Bellinger, and it's gone. Brandon Nimmo up, swinging first pitch, going back at the track, at the wall. It's gone. Wow. Third home run of the afternoon for the Mets. Of those 5, he has multiple hits, 3 home runs. Fly ball, deep left field. Looking up is Pete Crow Armstrong.
4th full count of the night for Assad. 3-2. And that's well struck. Left field. Happ going back, turning and looking, and it's gone. To 2 strikes. That's drilled. That's well struck left field. That's on its way. Gone. And Nimmo will touch them all. Back-to-back homers. That's cracked center field. Pete Crow Armstrong will just turn and watch it go. Oh, boy.
High fly ball deep to left, and Verdugo goes back and takes a look, and this one's going to sail out of here. Mark Vientos homers for a 2nd consecutive at bat. Here's Bader driving one to deep left, and that's gone. Harrison Bader against his old team drives one out of the ballpark. Mark Vientos leads off on the home 4th against Garrett Cole, and he drives this one to the gap in right center, headed toward the fence, and it hits off the wall, goes over. A home run for Vientos. And Nimmo cracks one to deep right field. That goes Soto near the wall. It's out of here. Brandon Nimmo adds a home run.
Gets up on the Yanks, 1-0.
Alvarez ropes one out to right. Soto going back. It's over his head, and it's out of here. Francisco Alvarez goes the other way. Hit by a pitch and walked. 1-1 to Taylor. And he cracks one to deep left field. Back goes Verdugo. Takes a look, and it's out of here. Tyrone Taylor brings down the... Harrison Bader leads off in the home 7th.
The 0-1. Bader sends a high drive to left field. Verdugo looks up, it's gone.
You're going to go collect. We're going to a pizza delivery up here in a minute. Here's a fly ball out toward right center field from Taylor. Back out near the wall is McCormick, and it's gone. Opposite field is in, but they all respect Martinez, and you have to respect that from Pete Alonso. A long way and a go-ahead home run. And he hooks one toward the right field corner. This ball is gone into the front row. A 3-run homer. And Jeff McNeil.
Tuve, they got the Mets going. That's a long fly ball to center. Myers looks up at the wall, and it's out of here into the black. Mark Vientos. 0-2 coming. And that's driven out to left center field. Back in the gap near the wall. It's out of here. Brandon Nimmo ties the game with his 100. And Martinez drives one to deep center field. Back goes Young to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. J.D. Martinez. And Iglesias flies one to deep center field. Back goes Young to the warning track at the wall. And it's out of here. The 6th. And Francisco launches one out to left field. Back goes Wood to the warning track looking up. And it's out of here. Francisco Lindor gets the Mets on the board. 2 out. And Pete drives one to deep left field. Back goes Wood. He takes a look at the wall. And it's out of here. Pete Alonso puts the hammer down. That's driven deep to left field, right down the line, and headed toward the pole, and a fair ball, home run. High fly ball, deep center field. Back goes Young to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Mark Vientos gets the hit back in. Lindor socks one deep left center field toward the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Lindor strikes with a 2-run homer. The Mets. He bangs this one to deep right field, headed toward the stands, and it's out of here. Jeff McNeil. And Nimmo swinging 3-0, clocks one to deep center, and forget that. That is way out of here. Brandon Nimmo to the back of the bleachers. Dancing off second, he's running, and Nimmo skies one out to left. Wood gives some ground to the warning track, back at the wall. It's out of here. Brandon Nimmo had some carry and opposite field. That's driven to deep right field. Back goes Thomas to the warning track, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor with a 2-run homer.
And he doesn't miss this one right here. Middle.
Against righties.
And he drives this one out to right center field. Thomas takes a look, and it's out of here. For the first time in his career, Brandon Nimmo has homered in 3 consecutive. Vientos gets a hold of one deep center field. Doyle goes back near the wall, and it's out of here. Vientos gets a... And that's driven to deep left by Iglesias, and that's going to tie the game. Jose Iglesias with his second home. And Bader drives one deep left center. Back goes Hilliard near the wall, and it's out of here.
For the Cardinals.
That's drilled down the left field line, and he's got another multiple home run game. Harrison Bader clocks one out of here. A 2-run shot is... That's driven to deep left by Iglesias. Near the wall, it's out of here. For the first time in his career, Jose Iglesias. And Lindor skies one to center. Pretty well hit. Back goes Doyle to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Lindor.
Here's Alonso.
And Pete drives one to deep left field, and his home run drought is over. Pete Alonso mashes. 2-2 coming. In the air to center field. Chisholm gives some ground to the warning track. And right at the fence, he can't get it. Home run. Jeff hits another one deep to right. Sanchez takes a look, and it's out of here. Jeff McNeil strikes again. His second.
It's Jeff McNeil with 2 out and a runner at first.
And Jeff drives one deep right field, right down the line, and that ball is out of here. Jeff McNeil. And now Lindor cracks one to deep right field. Forget that. That's out of here. Off the signage. Francisco Lindor is. Fly ball hit well to left field. Back goes De La Cruz to the track at the wall. It's out of here. Francisco. 3-2. And it's hit in the air to deep right center field. Back goes Soto near the wall, and it's out of here. Jeff McNeil strikes again.
Taylor launches one to left. Forget it. The 9-hole hitter all over it. And Tyrone Taylor inserted in. Oh, Pete Alonso, left field. It's high. It is deep. It is out of here. Pete Lindor swings and drives one down the line and right. And it is second deck Lindor. Deja vu for Cole. This ball driven again to left. Vientos exit stage left. Mark Vientos. I tell you, the Mets. Swing and a drive, left center field. Francisco flushes the game with a 3-run shot. They lead at 11 to.
He drives that one deep to left center field. Back goes Kelnick, looks up, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor. Nobody out. And JD flies one to deep right field. Back goes Duvall to the warning track. Back at the fence. It's out of here. An opposite field grand. And Vientos gets a curveball and drills it to deep left, and that ball is out of here. Mark Vientos. And now Alvarez sucks one to deep left. Forget that. That is way out of here. Francisco Alvarez adds to the. 1-1 to Alonso. And Pete sucks one to deep center field. Laureano takes a look, but this ball is way out of here. Pete Alonso with a tape. Simeon Woods Richardson to Alonso, drives one deep to left, and that ball's going to sail out of here. A monstrous home run by Alonso to tie up the ball. Fly ball deep left field off the bat of Vientos. Back near the wall, it's out of here. Number 15 for Mark Vientos. Fly ball deep right field, back toward the corner. Kepler near the wall, it's out of here. Mark Vientos goes the other way. A 2-run
for Nimmo this year. Pete Alonso gets all of that one. Goodbye, a home run for Big Pete. And the fly ball center field going back is Kevin Pillar at the track, at the wall. It's out of here. A grand slam. First pitch swinging, Jeff McNeil. That ball is gone. A home run for Jeff McNeil. Just
a rough first inning. Alonso gets a hold of one to center field. Doyle goes back. He gives it a courtesy glance, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso with a booming 66. And he drives this one to deep left center, and he's got himself another one. Alonso with another long home run, his second of the day. Number 20. Fly ball deep left field. Back goes Hilliard to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Mark Vientos adds to the home run barrage.
In the air toward right, Canzone to the wall. It is gone. Finally, the Mets score a run in
sidewall. And he gets another one. This one deep to right. Butler back near the wall, and it's out of here. Francisco.
Like that's really nerve-wracking. But other than that, like
Gary, take it.
Pete Alonso crushes one and hits off the face into the center. Vientos flying to right his first time. Vientos smacks one deep right center, headed toward the wall, and it's out of here. Mark Vientos goes the other way for his 18th. Third, his 18th of the year. Vientos hits another one deep to right. Back goes Cameron near the wall, and it's out of here. Mark Vientos homers for the second time. 3-2 with one out. Alvarez not running, and McNeil socks one to deep right field toward the stands, and it's out of here. Jeff McNeil dropping the bat hand. Nimmo's 0 for 2 tonight. He rips one down the right field line, headed toward the pole. It's out of here. Brandon Nimmo with a 3-run. He made 15 starts and only pitched 58 innings in the 15 starts. That's driven out to right center field. Back goes Sanchez, takes a look, and it's out of here. Francis, but they've never produced much pitching. Fly ball center field. Hill going back to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso with a towering home run. Second.
But the storm clouds are coming back. A second deck home run for Nick.
And he drives one out to right center field. Back in the gap goes Santander near the wall. It's out of here. J.D. Martinez goes the other. 2 and a walk tonight. Alvarez swings and he drives one deep left center field. Mullins looks up and it's out of here. Alvarez swings 3-0 and he wins the game for New York with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth. First career walk-off RBI for Francisco Alvarez, and it was a bomb of a home run. His first home run in 3 weeks. J.D. hits one deep to center field. Back goes Mullins to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. J.D. Martinez connects. He smacks this one deep to right center field. Back in the gap goes Cowser near the wall, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor. And Vientos hits one deep to center field. Back goes Cowser. Back near the wall. It's out of here. Mark Vientos is a walk-off shot in the bottom of the ninth. And the Mets do it again with the game-winning home run by Winker. They take 2 out of 3 from the Orioles. Winker's second career walk-off home run. His first home run as a Met. Coming in his 52nd at bat as a Met. And he smacks one to deep right center field. Back goes Johnson at the wall, and it's out of here. A grand slam for Francisco Lindor. He was in the driver's seat, and he drove it right out of the ballpark. His 7th career grand slam, his 26th home run of the year, and it's 5-0 New York. And he slams this one to left, Profar back, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor has homered from both sides of the plate. Fly ball deep left field off the bat of Bader toward the wall. It's out of here. Harrison Bader breaks his 0 for 20. David Peterson had last night. He only struck out 2 in 7 1/3. Had a great game. Martinez drives one deep to center. Back goes Merrill looking up, and it's out of here. Vientos slams one to deep right center. Merrill goes back, and it's out of here. Mark Vientos in just the same spot where Martinez hit his. The big guys keep going. Pete Alonso leads off the second inning and flies one out to right field. It's deep. Carroll goes back to the warning track, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso gives the Mets the early. And Bader drives one to left. That'll tie the game. Harrison Bader hits one into the seats in left field. A two-run. Time with Mike Piazza for third on the all-time Met home run list. High fly ball, deep center field. McCarthy back to the warning track at the wall, and it's out of here. That's drilled to deep right field, and that'll tie up the game. Francisco Lindor got a change up that time and hit it out of the yard to tie it up. It's 2-2. Number 28. That's smoke to left field, but back goes Benintendi at the warning track, and it's out of here. That ball carried from a two-out base runner for Pete Alonso, and he hits one in the air to deep left field. Back goes Benintendi, takes a look, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso with his first. And Winker drives one out to right center. Back in the gap goes Robert near the wall. It's out of here. Back-to-back home runs for Alonso and Winker. Fourth inning, Francisco Lindor leads off and flies one deep to left field. Back goes Jolks back near the wall, and it's out of here. Francisco Lindor. First time up. And Lindor gets one in the air to right field. O'Neill back near the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Lindor strikes again, his 30th home run of the season. The fifth time in Lindor's. Rookie right-hander Justin Slayton in to pitch to Mark Vientos. And the breaking ball hit deep to center. Back goes Duran near the wall. It's out of here. 11 stretch. And Pete hits one deep to center field. Back goes Duran to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Pete Alonso puts the hammer. And Winker hits one to deep center field. Back goes Duran to the warning track. It's over his head. And it's out of here. A grand slam. Here's Mark Vientos, 5-game hitting streak, and he drives one to deep left field, headed back toward the fence, and it's out of here. Mark Vientos, first pitch he's seen. Vientos, and he smacks it to deep left. That's out of here, and the Mets win the ball game. Mark Vientos with his second two-run homer of the night. Second walk-off home run this season from Mark Vientos. The first one came in a cameo. This one comes as a leading man. And the Mets win it 6-4.
Bookended two-run home run.
Bader grounded out to third base his first time up. Lindor on deck. And he hits one in the air, deep right center field. Back goes Friedel to the warning track, and it's out of here.
Run to end it.
That's driven to deep right field, and a home run ends this no-hit bid. Linsanity. Francisco Lindor ties the game with a ninth-inning home run. As big a hit as the Mets have had all season. Francisco Lindor breaks up the no-hit bid and the shutout, and he ties the game with his 31st home run of the year, and it's 1-1. 2 out and 2 on, and Alvarez slams one to deep center field. Varsho back, takes a look, and it's out of here. Francisco Alvarez brings the hammer. And that curveball hit in the air deep down the left field line, right toward the pole. That ball is out of here. A 3-run homer for Francisco. That's driven out to right field. Back goes Castellanos to the warning track, looking up, and it's out of here. Brandon Nimmo with a 3-run homer. Runners get set to go, the 3-2, and Bader drives one deep left center. That heads toward the wall, and it's out of here. The Mets with their third 3-run homer. And Pete skies one to left center. Back goes Rojas right to the fence, and it's out of here. And this one's driven deep left center field. Back goes Rojas back in the gap, and it's out of here. Tyrone Taylor breaks the ice. His 7th home run. Alvarez crushes one deep left field. Forget that. That's out of here. Francisco Alvarez. And he rockets this one out to left field. Back goes Wood, back to the wall, and it's out of here. Pete Alonso. He drives this one deep left field toward the wall. It's out of here. Luis Acuna with his first major league home run. What a tonight for Luis Angel Acuna. A single, a double, and now his first home run. 10-1 New York. First start at Citi Field, and he has made it a shining one. Filling in for Francisco Lindor at shortstop. And off the inning with a walk. And Nimmo drives one to deep right center field. Cruz goes back, and it's out of here. Brandon Nimmo puts the hammer. An RBI single with a fourth. Acuna flies one to deep left. One goes back near the wall. It's out of here. Luis Angel Acuna homers for the
total breakout season for him. That ball is crushed down the left field side, and that is out of here. It rang back in, just a clothesline for Vientos' 25th.
You know, we asked Rob Thompson, what's the thing that scares you most about the Mets lineup? And he said the thump.
That ball is hit well. Deep right field, and oh boy. That ball's crushed. Nimmo, right center field. It is out of here.
2-0.
5 straight out of the zone. That ball is detonated. 3-run home run, a meteor.
As he drills one out toward left center field. This one is deep, and that ball is gone. What a start in Queens. Jose Iglesias. For Suarez today. And a rocket out to left field, back toward the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Alvarez. For Alvarez, and here's Luis Angel Acuna, and he drives one out to left field. Back goes Wilson. He takes a look, and it's out of here. Luis Angel.
When the original sign popped off. This ball is also driven deep to right off the bat, and Nimmo at the wall. It's over the wall.
Now Vientos flies one to deep right field. White goes back on the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. And Vientos flies one to deep center. Back goes Perkins to the warning track at the wall, and it's out of here. Mark Vientos gets the Mets. Lindor cracks one to deep right field. Churrio back near the wall. It's out of here. Francisco Lindor clobbers a. And Nimmo clocks one to deep right field. White goes back, takes a look, and it's out of here. Brandon Nimmo puts a hammer down with a. And Lindor gets under one to center field. Harris going back, back near the wall, and it's out of here. Linsanity again. Francisco Lindor flips the script with a 2-run homer, and the Mets go in front 8-7.
Lindor at third, Nimmo at first.
Sanchez in the air to right. Castellanos ranging back at the wall. He turns around and it's gone. It kept on. Of the 6th inning. Alonso sends one high in the air to right. Back on it, Castellanos at the wall, looking up, and Alonso goes deep. Another opposite field shot of the. High leverage count. Nimmo launches it towards right. Castellanos twisting around, turning around, watches it go. And Brandon Nimmo responds. 2-pitch. Is a fastball hit in the air, deep left field. Ranging back is Hayes at the wall. Mark Vientos has done it again, and the Mets have done it again. It's 6-6 in the 9th. Punch after punch after punch. Blow after blow traded by these two division rivals. It's 6-6.
They never stop coming at him.
The comeback Mets. Here's Pete Alonso. And he swings at the first pitch. Launches it to right. Back Castellanos. Pete Alonso back at Citi Field. This time Winker cranks it. It's a no-doubt shot. Upper deck, 2-0. Boy, Jesse Winker enjoyed that moment. Lindor in the last game. Lindor towards right center field. This one is back. It is gone. Grand slam, and Lindor puts the Mets on top. The biggest swing of the season for New York. And the Mets fans erupted with that monster swing from Francisco Lindor. The biggest swing in a New York Met.
Along. Here it comes. Lindor hits a fly ball towards the right field corner. It carries well. It leaves the yard. Lindor sparks it. Crack to right center field. Pajes on the move to the track. He couldn't find it. That's because it's over
Mets have responded to the Game 1 haymaker with a haymaker of their own. 6-0 in the second inning.
What an at-bat right there. I said the pitcher.
And up comes Mark Vientos. And a fastball turned around. Right center field. Tie game. It's not driven in a run. Alonso digs it out. Sends it in the air. Deep center field. There it goes. Pete Alonso. 3-0. Game 2 gave up a home run. Here's a high fly ball to deep center field. Pages going back, reaches for the wall. It's gone. Vientos chips away with a 2-run home run, and it's 6-3. Had just enough on it. Vientos with his 5th home run of the postseason and extends his postseason lead in runs batted in, now 14 with a 24.